So we are live now. Good morning. I am Chef Sunil, Program Director, Patel Hotel and Tourism Business School, Sushant University. Would like to welcome you all to the fourth installment of our webinar series NCCO 2.0, New Normal, Career, Challenges and Opportunities, titled Redefining Gastronomy, Immuno Meals, the Next Big Thing. COVID-19 has impacted today's world to a great extent. It has been estimated that the virus should be touching more than 80% of the world's population over the span of the next 2 years. Even though the vaccines are being developed all over the world, the time of delivery of the vaccine is still far, far away. The best we can do is to find a way to make ourselves stronger, and the best way to do it is by modifying our diet plans. Immuno meals, also called as immunity meals, are the next big thing we are looking at, including the needed vitamins and minerals in our daily diets like vitamin C, D, zinc, calcium, etc. They can help us make our body stronger from inside, thereby leaving no scope for the virus to affect us at critical level. So without further ado, let me take you through our flow of the event. We're going to be having Mr. Laurent Guiron, our Director of Vatel Program, introducing the school to you and an introduction about the programs that we offer, followed by the session by Dr. Shivani Sharma, post which will be taking a Q&A from your side. Then Shiv Kansha will be taking over. She'll be talking about the food part, the practicality part of the very same thing, followed by a Q&A session. And then we'll have a wrap-up session. We'll again be taking inputs from your side in this session. Right. So without further ado, let me welcome our Director of Program, Mr. Laurent Guiron. Mr. Laurent Guiron has more than 3 decades of experience when it comes to hospitality field. He has been in the kitchens. He knows about everything. He knows about the wines. We love interacting with him. He has been with the Patel India for for almost half a decade now. And we must say that we have loved having his inputs at every level. He has been a consultant for a lot of properties out there, majorly the Madre restaurant with Mr. Ramola Bachchan, and then the Olive Restaurant Group. Mr. Laurent, the stage is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunil, for the introduction. I don't know, 3 decades sounds like a long time. So, yeah, welcome everyone. I'm quite glad to be here. Welcome to our panelists and welcome to all the people that are attending the webinar. I just wanted to give you a little brief on Vatel. Vatel is a 40 years old enterprise now. We will turn 40 in September, so it's very close. It all started in France in 1989, when the first school was created by Mr. Alain Seban, who is the Vatel president. And slowly expansion started, and then from few schools in France, then school in Switzerland, and a school in Brussels, and then finally the expansion all around the world. And today we are at 50 schools in 31 countries. So we are the biggest school of hospitality in the world. We have also been voted the best, so we are quite happy about that and quite proud. I've been with this program since 2015, the date we introduced the program, and Vatel opened a school in Sushant University. Vatel, in numbers, as you can see, it's 50 campus, as I said. It's the worldwide business school group, biggest group in hospitality and tourism. It's 9,000 students all over the world and 35,000 alumni. So it's a very strong network that helps us develop a lot of programs for our students, global exchange program, international internship, and we have also, of course, in the university with us, best of faculty, and thanks to our dean, Dr. Garima, who has been very active and very good at putting the team together and taking the team to another level. So we are quite happy with all what's happening today at Sushant University at Vatel Gurgaon. We also are the only campus in India, so that's something that we are quite proud of. As you can see, I think pictures talk better than words. You can see on the map all the schools that we have everywhere, and in Africa, in Middle East, and Asia Pacific, and you can see Europe also. Of course, it started in Europe, so we have more schools in Europe than we have probably in other continents. But it's growing, especially in Asia. Lots of schools are being created in China, and we have now a school in Manila also. We have a school in Vietnam, etc., etc. So this whole network helps us do a lot of work for our students. If you believe that today, our students being passed out students are all over the globe. They're working in the US. We have people in Middle East. In the EUA. We have people working everywhere. We have people in Montenegro. We have people in Switzerland that are doing their internship that we offer. We have a program of 10 weeks internship in Ratel Nîmes, where we have a beautiful hotel there, and the hotel is run by the students. 250 students from all over the world go every year and meet other students from other schools. So it's a good opportunity for students to discover a new country and discover, of course, new way of life, a new culture. That's what these programs are all about. We also propose something completely unique so far in India, but nobody else does that, and we can do it because of our network and because of the fact that in all the Vatel schools, the curriculum is the same. So basically, if you leave Gourgaon and you go to study in your fifth semester, you will study exactly the same thing that you were studying in Gourgaon. So that's the best about this program. 1 year in another country, 6 months studying, and 6 months in the internship program. You can develop so much opportunity for yourself through this program. We have students right now in Montenegro. Amandi, he was able to secure a job because he went and did an internship in a hotel, and they loved him so much. They told him, after you finish your program in Gourgaon, you come here. We'll hire you. So these opportunities are, something that are very important to consider, and I think that's what makes the success of our program. Our students have become transformed after they have an experience of 1 year in another country. Imagine what kind of experience that would be, and what it can give you for further career. And of course, during your time with us in this BHM program, there are 2 internships of 6 months each, 22 weeks each, that we also encourage you to spend abroad. We manage that for you. We make sure that it's happening. We have a lot of students going to Mauritius every year, lots of students going to Dubai, etc., etc. So it's really a good opportunity. I think more than 80 students travel abroad every year from our school only. I'm only talking about Gourgaon. So you imagine that 80 students, it's nearly half of the students we have. So it's a very big number of people that are able to to go. Some people don't want, so we cannot force them, but we encourage them for sure. So as I said, the Marco Polo program, I'm not going to go into much detail. It's very simple. You have understood it's a year abroad, 50-50, 1 6 months study, 6 months internship. We can go to the next slide, Chef. Another very important thing that you will discover with this program is that we offer dual degree. Ansel University gives you a degree, BHM, and Vatel International gives you a degree as well, which is of course a valid degree recognized by the French Ministry of Education, and it's valid all over the world as well as your Ansel University degree. So that's again an opportunity to have during one program 2 degrees, and these 2 degrees, one being an international degree while you're studying in India. So that's also something that nobody does here, and it's a very big opportunity for you and to be recognized as a Vatel student and recognized as a Sushant University student. Sushant University, we have changed the name recently, so here on the degree, it's a degree from last year. It still says Ansel, but next year it will say Sushant. So basically, this is what we offer, and I think we have had such good experience in the past 5 years. We have had very big success stories with our students, and we are very proud of that. So I thank you all for infrastructure. Of course, is another thing. Sorry, I was about to forget that. Lots of opportunities also, pre-kitchen, one bakery, and we have the opportunity to train you on site. Of course, right now it's not happening because of COVID, but next semester, hopefully, all the training will be happening in our kitchens, in our restaurant. We created a new restaurant like last year called Epicure. That's the photograph on top, so you can see it's pretty state of the art. And our Cafe Vatel, which we are remodeling this year also. Housekeeping lab, front office lab, we have the latest of also software and hardware, so you can try try out yourself on these softwares that are used in the industry today. It's a 4-year course. In the first year, it's a foundation and introduction to the industry and the way the industry functions. So you have an understanding of what are the fundamentals of hospitality and the industry. In second semester, it's more operational. We emphasize on hospitality operation. So it includes a 22-week internship, which I think this year for this batch we will move to the third year because of COVID, we are not sure what the scenario will be. Third year, it's management. So what all is to be known to manage a place. You go through your HR, you go through your marketing, etc. And then the 4-year is more specialization. So we emphasize on whatever specialty you will have chosen, and we prepare you for the industry. So that's the way we function. The MBA in 2 years, it's a 4th semester program also that we propose. Managerial foundation in the first semester, operational in semester 2, leadership in semester 3, and finally internship in semester 4. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Again, I'm thank the team for organizing all these webinars. They're quite interesting and they're always well presented by our team. So welcome to all of you here. Welcome to our speakers, and I wish you a good session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we'll move to our first speaker, Dr. Shivani Sharma. Dr. Shivani Sharma is a diet consultant and an academic counselor. The lady is known to our team members for quite a long time, our chef as well as our dean. She holds a doctoral degree in food and nutrition from DAV University, Indore. She recently completed her MSc in psychology and has an overall experience of 14 years in the field of clinical nutrition and academics. She has worked with reputed organizations such as Sitaram Bhartiya Research Institute, New Delhi, Max Hospital, Alchemist Hospital Private Limited, GD Goenka University, and she also a member of the advisory board for Udgam Play School. She has to her credit several research papers in the journals of repute. Her motto in life, and that's one thing we should be learning, is focus on goals and not on the success. So let's have Dr. Shivani. Dr. Shivani, stage is yours. Ma'am, I'm turning on your audio. Shivani, ma'am, your audio is on now.
Morning all. Thank you so much for wonderful introduction. Okay, I hope I'm visible and audible too. Okay, so welcome to the session on immunomeals, the next big thing. I hope you all can see the PowerPoint presentation slides. Well, this is a session which basically deals with immunomeals, the next big thing to think about in a hospitality sector. But do you really need to have an immunomeal in a hotel industry? So let's begin with to understand the need for a healthy food with simple questions. Why and when do we eat healthy? Why is it that when your dietitian advises you need to eat healthy, or you have to wait for a COVID pandemic to that's why you want to go in for an option of immuno food because it's a COVID pandemic all around. So what is the answer? Now the answer is with you only, and the answer is your food plate. So did you ever notice what are you offering yourself in your food plate? What does your food plate comprises of? So this is what we are going to discuss today in our session about immunomeals, the next big thing. Though it is a very old concept, but again we want to go to our past and revive this concept in a new modern way.
Doctor,
Okay.
Doctor, can you just turn on the slideshow? It is a small
Okay, can you see the okay? Okay, I'll just do it. Now is it visible to all?
Yeah, we can see it's coming in a smaller size. Can you just press F5? I think it will become bigger. F5 was the icon which is coming at the bottom, right next to the zoom option if you see, right hand side corner. That's all okay. Ma'am, you can continue.
It hang, that's why I'm unable to do it because of the network issues. So I was discussing about the food plate. Now, why do we want to go in for immunomeals only? Why we are not ready to accept the normal food and we have to call it as an immunomeal? The answer is simple, that we look into our food plate and we just need a little push and a little bit effort so that we just go beyond our imagination and to make our food, everyday food, very gastronomical. Now this doesn't actually lays in the hand of only a chef who could provide you a very delicious cuisine or a food which is more appealing, but at the same time the same can be provided at home. Now here our main focus is how we have to get that home food at a 5-star level. So this is what we are going to throw the light on immunomeals in this webinar. So to understand the concept of immunomeals, we should actually know what are immune booster foods and why these foods are actually required when we are talking about the term called immunomeals. Because these are the foods which are able to support your immune system so that you aren't as likely to get sick. They are going to provide you with the defense mechanism and they are going to help you in your overall development in a healthy manner. Especially when you're out nowadays, like it's COVID pandemic, and we are moving out, we have got a fear. Okay, if we are not consuming vitamin C in our diet, we are going to catch coronavirus. If we are not having kara, again we are more prone to COVID. But otherwise also, as I asked you the questions, that why do we have to wait for this pandemic? Why do we have to fall sick? Why can't we have these in our daily routines? Why can't we imbibe these concepts, these superfoods in our routine diet? Getting my point? So we should know that these are the foods which are readily available, which are easily available at our home. The only focus we need is that we have to give importance to those small little items which are the basic of our cooking, but they do wonders. So we have to provide a holistic approach by introducing immunomeals. And I already told you that immunity boosters are the foods which are able to support your immune system, so you are not likely to get sick. For example, broccoli, avocado, citrus fruits, honey, ginger, strawberries, bell peppers, etc. So there is a whole lot of variety of foods which are available, and they are available locally also. So the main focus is that we have to give a new paradigm shift to the chefs. Now it is the duty of the chefs that they have to, we are already using these in our culinary art, but we have to give them the importance. Until now, we were using cumin seeds, we were using caramel seeds, we were using cardamom, we were using cinnamon, but as a flavoring agent, as a, to give the base to our cooking. But now we have to highlight their importance in our immunity, because our focus is how we can introduce immunomeals in the diet, how we can improve our immunity. So the chefs, they have to think in terms of health and well-being. Now, since low calorie and low fat concept is no longer prevalent, everybody wants to go for a healthy well-being, and everybody wants that, if we are visiting a hotel, we should also get the feel of being at home. But at the same time, we are getting the food in a manner which is very local, very simple, but yet appealing and tasty also, and healthier as well. So we have to practice the farm to plate concept, getting in seasonal vegetables, fresh fruits, and all, which are easily locally available, and introduce them into our menus. So gone were the days when we actually wanted to have avocados and frozen berries, because this is what we have heard in the newspapers, that we should only switch on to these as a superfoods. But there are other options. We can go in for quinoa, which is a very good source of protein. Similarly, cabbage instead of kale, because not everybody can afford goji versus amla. Then we have oranges, we have lemons at home. So simple things that are easily available can be introduced. How we have to introduce this in our hospitality sector is the importance that we are the food lovers. And I'm sure that all of you sitting here must be venturing out to eat good food. We all want to indulge in a gourmet food, not just to fill up our stomach, but we have to culminate, satisfy our five senses. So if the same food can be made healthy with the use of so-called superfoods or the immuno boosters food, then why not frame them as a immuno meals? I just want to quote an example that Starbucks introduced turmeric latte, so which is nothing but just a haldi milk. If the same milk we can consume at home, and the same milk is, double the price as being served in a restaurant, then it is considered immuno meals, and it is highlighted and it becomes very popular. So today we are here on this common platform to discuss on the concept of redefining gastronomy, where we want to revive the past and introducing the immuno meals. Not to forget that Dadima's nuska. If you fell sick, I would like to ask Garima ma'am. Garima ma'am, please tell me, अगर आप कभी बीमार हुए, what was the nuska that you followed when you were at home?
Actually, I think so. Obviously, I think so. We immediately go back to kada, and if it is
Kada,
winter,
yeah.
it's haldi milk, and no sugar, no oil, and fruits.
Yeah. And what does kada comprises of?
I think so. Obviously, all the whole garam masalas and whole khara masalas, elaichi, cinnamon, moti elaichi,
Yes.
choti elaichi, all
Yeah.
these.
Moti elaichi, and ajwain, little bit of, ginger, dry ginger,
Jeera,
then tulsi
dhania.
extracts, etc. So these are locally and readily available, which we have to now highlight in our hotel industry. And another thing is that we have to bring our past. We have to revive, because somewhere, we have left our ancestors cooking, which was actually the base, and that is why our ancestors, or if you have seen our elderlies, they did not fall sick so often as we do. Why a newly born child immediately falls sick within 10 or 15 days? Because of the poor immunity. Why so? Because of the environment. A child nowadays, a preschooler, is more prone to infections. Why? Because of the immunity. And why? Where does that immunity comes from? It either comes from the parents, or it comes from the diet that you are providing to the child. But now it is a era of junk food. The moment the child opens his eyes within 2 years of age, the child knows what is pizza, what is burger, what is pasta, etc. But we do not introduce them with, the concept of having, milk, haldi milk, or giving ginger and honey when they are coughing, or giving them just basil water when they are having cold and cough, etc. Applying little bit of, asafoetida, or in Hindi we call it as hing, on their navel, or just dissolving it, a pinch of it in a spoon of water and giving it to them. But now, because it is a pandemic time, and we all are, very conscious, and we are scared also because of coronavirus, we want that even if we want to move out and enjoy our meals, we should have an immuno meal in front of us. We will not go for an option of pasta or pizza, but we would go for an option which would, give a soothing effect, a relaxing effect, or a hot effect to our body, so that we are not attacked by the virus. So the concept of immuno meals will give a new paradigm shift to the chefs, as they have to consider this in the terms of health and well-being, because they plays a very important role. And as I said that earlier, we have to revive the past.
Have we lost
I
her?
can say that yes.
Yeah, okay.
We are back. Yes.
Okay, so we can have a healthy hospitality corner where we can serve the immunothalis, immunodrinks, Ayurvedic meals which are based on the constitution of an individual. Of course, we cannot go much in the details of Ayurvedic diet, but we can always explain that if you are more prone to acidity or flatulence, or you have a lot of issues of burps, etc., or you catch cough and cold easily, then you should avoid these food and you should go for these menus as an option. For example, if you are having an issue of a lot of acidity, so I would advise you not to have milk, not to have curd, not to have anything citrus at night, according to the Ayurveda concept, because it actually based on your physical constituents, that is your doshas, which is space, air, fire, water, and earth. So based on these concepts, we can pick out our constituents. We can pick out certain foods from these concepts, and the chef can play its part very well by coming out with the recipes which are self-explanatory. At the same time, they are healthy also and very attractive. So in the end, I would just say that we have to give the chefs a newer perspective in the culinary art so that the millennials can go beyond the concept of low calorie and low fat food. And this can be done by also providing energy drinks which are pure and naturally prepared by the infusion of various ingredients. And doing so, it will also give tourism industry a new platform for their travelers in terms of healthy foods. So gone were the days when staying at a hotel meant compromising on food. Well, we can now safely go and we can, say that we want to go and offer our immuno meals. So let's revive our old heritage by thinking global and cooking local in the form of immuno meals. And I now request our Honorable Chef Akanksha to give a view on it.
Yes. Chef will come to you in a while. Thank you so much, ma'am. So if you could, ma'am, just turn off the presentation option. We would like to put up some questions coming towards you.
Yes.
Just stop that presentation option that is coming on the main screen. Sure. Great. So, ma'am, I'll just share a small experience with you. The time you mentioned about the Kada, I went back to the month of July, the first week of July, when I actually caught COVID. So, ma'am knows about this well, but that actually was a very testing time for the whole team, in fact. And must say the Kada was one thing which is helping us out. I was taking those supplements and all those things, but they were only supplements. The natural boosters, the Kada, and having those food items you mentioned about what we call as superfood also, when we go towards the gym side, that's the only thing which actually saved us. So I was just wanting to share that thing. Man, the first question that we have coming up is, what is your take on the immunity-based supplements available in the market? Do you think they act faster than immunity-based meals?
Okay, say my opinion is one should only go for the immunity-based supplements or any other supplement only if the dietary intake is. If you are healthy, if you are a normal human being, you can eat proper food, then nothing like it, because you will be having all the ingredients, all the nutrients into your meal. If you're having dal, roti, sabzi in a day along with a glass of milk, some amount of protein, some amount of carbohydrates, fats, then that is more than enough. You don't need an immunity boost food from the market. It's only recommended in times of illness or when you are actually gymming out or you are doing some extra hard work. Otherwise, I personally do not recommend.
Okay, ma'am. One question again that's coming out is, do we have some kind of a booster, what we call as a meal plan that fits all? Say something which everybody can take to ensure that they stay safe or they stay immune.
There are so many things every day. I mean, at home you have haldi is the best thing, which I feel even Akanksha ma'am must be, aware that haldi is the best, which can be introduced to everybody. Even a small little child can be given haldi milk and a pinch of it. Pinch of haldi in milk will be, an immunity booster for a 1-year-old infant also. Similarly, ginger and honey, they are easily available. Yeah, sorry?
Okay.
Sorry to cut you. I was saying you said it so rightly when Starbucks started turmeric latte it became such a
Now even
trend,
yeah,
and then we
trend, but everybody wants
and
to
then
have
we
it,
all
but nobody
realized
wants to
कि
have it at
बचपन
home.
से, yeah,
Bachpan
बचपन से our
se.
dadis
But
used
why
to
can't we
say,
have
and now
actually? Yeah. So the same thing, if we had in, at our home, we would have not approached Starbucks. We would have had the same thing at home. But if the same thing is provided at home, we will not accept it because it is provided at home. Now that it has got a brand name Starbucks, everybody would go and taste it.
Yes.
And if you ask
you're
me how
right,
to
the
prepare it,
F&B
I
industry
would say
does
just
start a
boil milk and
trend.
add a pinch of haldi to it.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
So there are, our Indian cuisine is full of immunity booster foods. All we need is the right type of cooking and the right presentation and the right time when it should be given. We cannot give a young infant or a young child to have ginger and honey at night because it might upset the stomach. But if the same thing is given to an elderly person or an old age or an asthmatic or a diabetic, it is going to, have multiple benefits. So this basically depends on how we are introducing the food in a proper channel, in a proper manner.
Okay. Great, ma'am. I'll just deviate from this immunomeal part, and you mentioned about the honey part. So most of us are having, so we have got so many brands available out there, the honey option. How do we judge that? How do we judge from the right honey from the fake version, what you call as a mixed versions kind of honey? So,
Yes.
Chef, you will require your input also in this. How do we do that?
Yeah, I think Akanksha ma'am can also explain it better, but as far I know, if you store honey in the refrigerator, you will get crystals into it. A pure honey will never
That
get
is
crystals.
what it. A lot of times it gets outside also.
Yeah. And another way you can judge it is like by taking a bit of honey in cotton wick and you just burn it in the flame. If it cracks, then it means it is contaminated. If it doesn't, it's pure.
Okay.
Also, if you put honey in a glass of water, the real honey is usually denser. So it'll settle
Denser.
down. The fake honey normally dissolves in the
Dissolves
water,
well.
and you'll not see any substituent settling at the bottom. So if you
Yes.
do this
Because
test, that's how we normally check it.
recently when I had this problem, and everybody in my neighborhood also started talking about it, we had a dietitian who came to our apartment. He mentioned that you need to have this honey every night if you want to get over COVID in about 14 days. So he said, if in case you don't get over COVID in 14 days, it's going to bounce back in another 10 days. That was a confirmation given by that person. If you don't make your immunity stronger, it is bound to bounce back. Okay, Doctor, I've got a question from one of the participant here asking the question that we've got so many lockdowns happening all over the world. So, what kind of healthy food are there that can last longer and still be healthy?
Okay, so see, you can switch on to vitamin C, which every doctor is recommending nowadays. If you're not able to take vitamin C tablets daily, I would say that at least twice a day you have lemon water with a little bit of honey dissolve into it. Or you can also make it more healthier by adding some basil leaves, and you can have that concoction of water at least twice a day. So this will also provide you immunity. Along with that, all fresh green fruit, vegetables, all your fresh fruits, curd, of course, milk and milk products, they are going to boost your immunity. So incorporate all these in your diet. Don't eat anything which is cooked outside, anything which is preserved. Everything should be freshly prepared at a room temperature, nothing cold.
Great. Great, Doctor. Thank you so much. I'll move on to Chef Akanksha now. Chef, just give me just 1 minute. I would first like to introduce you
No
to
worries.
our people here. So, Chef Akanksha, I must say, has a very elaborate profile. We have been in touch for a long, long time, and I must say she always has something interesting to share with us. She's a nationally acclaimed chef, trainer, and a freelancer consultant with over 9 years of experience in the bakery, patisserie, and Western cuisine. She has been mentioned by world-renowned chefs from India, Germany, Britain, and France. She has been given the titles, in fact, has won awards for the most creative dessert and the best innovative dish by Times of India 2017. And the ones who are following her must have seen her beautiful cake yesterday coming on Instagram with the very same poster. Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Chef. It
Thank
got a very good follow there. Sukansha managed the
thank
Western cuisine, weighing for multiple ITC properties, including ITC Grand Chola, and ITC Royal Gardenia, and ITC Moria. She was, in fact, the part of the pre-opening team for ITC Grand Chola and ITC Grand Gardenia. She also led R&D efforts for a leading German food equipment maker, where she commercialized the use of advanced kitchen equipments in India culinary styles. So, Chef Kangsha, the stage is all yours. I'm going to turn on the PPT. I would like to hear from you now. So, please, the stage is yours, ma'am.
So today's discussion is immunomeals. Looking at the current times, I have a very popular quote on my mind that medicines cannot drug away the cellular defects that develop in response to improper nutrition throughout life. And if we all see now, even allopathic doctors are now all suggesting that we should actually concentrate on our diets, include zinc, include vitamin C, include basically immunity boosting nutrients in our diets, because we've all realized during these COVID times that it is actually your diet that saves you at the end and what you basically eat. So to begin my discussion, let's first figure out what are immunomeals. Immunomeals are, in a very simple language, meals that include immunity boosting nutrients as ingredients. That is the most simplest way of discussing immunomeals. Now, if we discuss the history, how did it all come about? So if you think a little, before World War II, there were more infectious pandemics in the air, like tuberculosis. They were not immunity based, they were all infection based, like mumps or measles or smallpox. Beyond after World War II, due to our lifestyle and our adoption of Western practices of having processed foods, caffeinated drinks, more of alcohol in our diet, more of high sugar, less fiber, is when we started noticing other immunity related diseases like autoimmune diseases came into existence. Suddenly cancer came into existence in our lives. Suddenly allergies, suddenly diabetes came into existence. Before World War II, if you think, none of these ever existed. I think all of this has come into existence purely because of the lifestyle that we've all started leading. I think everybody on this forum will agree to that. Earlier, I remember everybody used to choose walking. Cars were not so prevalent. Air conditioning was not so prevalent. People used to sweat. People used to do their own work. Our grandmoms never had any maid servants cooking food or cleaning the house. Now we are all dependent on help, due to which we are less and less active in our lifestyle. And I think that is also a very big contributing factor to our overall health and development. And I'm open to views on what I'm saying. Anytime you can cut me short if someone has to add to what I'm saying. I would love to make this interactive. And so I feel that if we just probably, as Dr. Shivani said, go back to our roots and start doing our own work to begin with our diets. I feel it's just not the diet that contributes, it's also our lifestyle on how we work, how our daily life is, how much exercise do we do, how much stress is in our life. So all of that is a contributing factor to your immunity, and I think it should all be included as immunomeals, not just food, but your lifestyle as well. Just a brief talk on what are these immunity boosting nutrients. First and foremost is vitamin C. As Dr. Shivani said very, very correctly, that lemons is the easiest source of vitamin C, and I've realized that we have less and less of it. I remember earlier lemon juice was a part of dals, lemon juice used to be added on salads, lemon juice used to be added on fruits, but now we are gradually not having as much lemon as I feel that we used to. It's purely because I think we're all busy in work and diet has just become a background of everything else. Matlab, if you're in a meeting, very few people will say, oh, it's 1 o'clock, it's my lunchtime. A lot of people don't say that, and people, prioritize work over eating. I remember earlier when our grandfathers and our fathers used to work, lunchtime was lunchtime, breakfast time was breakfast time, and dinner time was dinner time. So I guess if you start incorporating these things, and in everyone's tiffin box, there used to be a salad. My father used to carry a salad to his office. There was a lemon wedge in it. But I think now people are moving away from carrying tiffins as well. If you simply get that back into your diets also, I think it'll make a big difference. Second major nutrient that is a part of the immunity boosting is vitamin E. So vitamin E is also one of the superfoods nutrients. I think simple things like almonds, sunflower seeds, peanuts, spinach can be included in our diets. Third is proteins. I think we all know proteins play a very important role in our diets. Fourth would be zinc, which now every doctor is suggesting us to have zinc supplements. I think supplements mostly are suggested by doctors because I feel our diets, zinc is a supplementing nutrient which is available in very less food items. So as a vegetarian or as a non-vegetarian, if we want to include it in our diet also, it sometimes gets very tough to include it every day. So if someone wants to include it, then strong sources of zinc are chane, raisin bran, cashews, beans, lentils, guavas. Also availability of fruits in today's time is less, and I think that is why people are more and more dependent on supplements. This is what my belief is. Is the event still on?
Yes, it is.
Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
we are on.
Akansha.
Yeah, we are
I'm
on.
not
We are
receiving
listening to
any
you.
details.
मेरे को try कर रहा हूँ फिर से
Yes,
recording.
We are
Akansha, we can
listening
hear
and
you.
listening to you.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. Also, I think what we forget, the most important and the easiest thing to include in our life, which we all forget every day, is water. I think all of us have reduced our water intake. I think if we simply ensure that we have 3 to 4 liters of water every day, I think most diseases will be at bay on its own. Because I think, as far as I am concerned or my family is concerned, most of us forget to drink water. And by the end of the day, we realize, oh, आज तो सिर्फ 2 ही glass पानी पिया था. So if we probably start making a rule to have water, I remember I had a chef in ITC, he had an alarm on his phone every hour, drink water. And I know as kids we used to make fun of him, but now as we are growing up, I've realized that it's a very good idea actually to just remember that you need to drink water because due to air conditioning, our bodies don't get dehydrated, so we just never we are never thirsty actually. Earlier, I remember we used to work out or we used to be walking or there was sun outside, so one used to get thirsty. So I feel water is one of the most important nutrient and the most cheap and the most easily available ingredient that can be made part of your lifestyles. Of course, omega-3 fatty acids, which is available in flaxseed, walnuts, these are things that are a part of our lives. Also, people are now gradually moving back to probiotics. Probiotics also contribute very, very strongly to your diets. Of course, you get supplements outside in the market, probiotic tablets, but I would suggest simple homemade curd is the best probiotic that one can have in their diets. I remember earlier it was a norm that after a meal one should have chas, buttermilk in English with, some zira and some black salt. Of course, now we think of it just as a drink, but if you think as scientifically, it is a natural probiotic. The zira helps you in digestion of what you've eaten. Black salt also aids digestion, and if you add a little bit of mint, it's also cooling. As whatever is said and done, all these superfoods and nutrients create a lot of heat in your body as well. So a buttermilk or a curd is essentially a part of your diet to cool down the effects of all these supplements if you're supplementing your diet with zinc or vitamin C, or if you're having the natural form as well. Ayurveda always states that they all create heat in your body. So if you just include simple probiotics in your diet, I think it will do wonders on its own. I think another reason why people depend on supplements is because if you read what you should have in an entire day, all of us, if I'll just read it out. So for a healthy lifestyle, have a large salad every day. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is have a half cup serving of dal or lentils, soup or salad. I'm telling you a balanced diet. Number 3 is eat at least 3 fresh fruits every day. And it is believed that all 3 fresh fruits, if they're of different colors, because all of them have different nutritional value, red fruit has carotenoids that comes. Yellow has another. Have 3 different fruits. Eat at least 30 grams of raw nuts or seeds every day, and have a large serving of green vegetables daily in raw or steamed. So the reason I think we all eat supplements is because none of us eat so much. None of us pay attention to eating so much. I think Chef would agree. Chef Sunil, what do you think?
Exactly
I
right.
mean,
We don't eat
when you
like
go
that.
for work and all, yeah, when you go for work, 5 meal, कौन खाएगा? मतलब, even managing to carry those 5 meals is very tough. Also, one more thing that I would come to say is that including at least 30 minutes minimum of exercising or yoga, all of this also is my belief helps you in building immunity, because if your mind is not in the right state, whatever you eat will not get absorbed. You can eat whatever you like in the world for building your immunity, but if your mind is not helping you absorb them with the stability that one needs, it'll never get absorbed. It'll never affect. That is probably why people are getting autoimmune disorders, is because the mind plays a very, very big role in increasing and developing immunity. Another thing that Dr. Shivani said very, very rightly is that old is gold. If you just simply go back to Ayurveda, we all keep looking for flaxseed and broccolis and kales, but if we simply include amla in our diets, it is an excellent source of vitamin C. As a matter of fact, I also run a kitchen in Gurgaon. It's a bakery and pastry kitchen where Chef Sunil saw the cake yesterday from. People are gradually now coming back. People want cakes with jaggery. People want to know what the cake contains and how is there a way to make it sinful yet good for you. Good for you is the new trend of the F&B industry. People really want to understand if the cake can have some flaxseed, if the cake can have some jaggery, if the cake can have cinnamon, if I can include, banana, if there can be something as an immunity boosting cake. So yes, the F&B industry is also gradually evolving. As a matter of fact, I am developing a cake which can be tasty and has turmeric and has cinnamon, and yet kids also enjoy it, and so does adults. Most people nowadays have a lot of tough time, especially parents, because kids are so dependent on sugar. As soon as they start understanding the world, they want to have sugar. And I have so many of my friends who keep telling me, "Yaar, give me a cake with jaggery. I want my kid to understand jaggery and not sugar." But it is a very big challenge, and I think the uh, the ads that you see, the promotions that you see in the market, the burger, pizza, the pastas, I think everyone will agree that the television and the social media is at some level needs to evolve and start inculcating healthier choices for people. Start advertising maybe junk which is tasty, which is not so tough to do, but people need to start moving in this direction. And I think the current times of COVID is making us realize that wish our diets were better, wish there were better food laws in our country. I think food laws is one of the most contributing factor to why junk, why unhealthy food, why unhealthy processed food is in our lives, because of food laws. If you read countries like Iceland, Ireland, they have banned a lot of food products for the welfare of the country, even though they lose on revenue and money and uh, currency of the country. But these steps need to be taken as far as the F&B industry is concerned. Coming back to Ayurveda, so amla is one of the easiest and the cheapest things. Ginger, as doctor said, is one of the easiest things to include. Your haldi wala doodh. हमारे घर में जो सबके तुलसी उग रही है, holy basil is one of the best immunity boosting ingredients that one can add to our teas, one can add to your milk, one can do so many things with it. Of course, if the simplest way of getting all of this is, if you remember, जब हम सब छोटे सब च्यवनप्राश खाते थे, I remember my roommate used to carry it to the hostel कि भाई च्यवनप्राश तो रोज मैंने एक चम्मच खाना ही है. But I believe now people no longer eat च्यवनप्राश. पहले कितने ad आते थे, अब it's no longer existent in the market. So I believe if we start going back to these old habits, and they are tasty as well. I mean, at no point I would say they're not tasty or they can't be made tasty. But I think, as I said, social media and ads and the food laws of the country contribute very strongly to this. Does anyone have to contribute anything? I'll stop for a bit and then I'll continue with the challenges.
No, Chef, all set. I think it would be better if we take the questions at the last and the feedback at the last. Then I'll be unmuting people. So that's why I'm saying
Okay.
we'll do it at the last. Yes.
So now if I address the current challenges that I think I've discovered immuno meals as a broad aspect and what all can be included in our diets. So my company Bonsa Hospitality, we're also into food and beverage consulting, where we help people open restaurants, decide concepts, also decide what is the future of the industry. So actually, since COVID started, we've started getting a lot of queries from people who want to open restaurants which highlight good for you foods. Good for you is basically a concept of having foods which are only aiding your health. I would not define them as immuno meals, and they're not all immunity building, but it basically comprises of recipes and meals in which there is nothing harmful being added. So, for example, if I talk about a simple drink, people now want that in their restaurants, the drink should be either made with natural sugars, because if we start depending on natural sugars of our fruits, they're sweet enough. They're sweet enough to add enough sweetness to our drinks. So, gradually, I feel the F&B industry is moving towards health, though I feel the perception of the customers is not 100% there. I think there's a small leaks. Recently we did a restaurant in Chandigarh, which is a good for you concept. Everybody doesn't go there. Everybody doesn't understand that food. But I feel that we are gradually getting there. People are understanding the importance of food. Also, the Indian concepts that we are gradually doing, Indian restaurants, people are asking us, we don't want to use any refined products. We want to only open a restaurant on basis of ghee and sarson ka tel. We don't want to get anything refined in our food. And we want that jo khane mein dal mein bhi ho, wo aap makhan yahi banao. People are also requesting us to start doing hand pounded spices in-house, because gradually people are realizing that the market bought spices have a lot of adulteration. I remember in school we had studied adulterants, and if you see, most of these spices have that adulteration or might. It's very tough to differentiate. As someone had asked Dr. Shivani also a question, that how do you differentiate which is adulterated and what is not? Okay, once in a while we can check our honeys and we can check our spices, but on a daily basis it's not possible to check what is adulterated or not. So I feel that now restaurants and our households are also gradually moving to hand pounding our spices. Whole red chilies, powder them, canned dhania, powder it. So I think the F&B industry is also moving, but it's not as fast as I would have personally wished it, because I purely myself, as a diet, the kind of diet that I follow, I choose to eat healthy. I choose to make junk healthy. Of course, I also have pizza cravings and burger cravings. So I try to make these things as good as you can. And yes, now restaurants with these concepts also have started coming, and people have started understanding these things. But due to lack of good marketing of these restaurants, I don't want to name any brands, but there are some brands in the market, few American brands, who are so strong on marketing that they kind of take over the whole market, and these small concepts which are good for you do not end up marketing as much, so people don't perceive them, or they're not so readily available because of different factors that come into play. Also, as far as the food and beverage industry and the restaurants are concerned, gradually people are opening outlets and people have started dining in, though there is unfortunately a lot of unemployment in the market at this point. As far as I'll tell you the real facts. On an average, I do get over 15 to 20 calls from chefs who've either been laid off or are back to their village because restaurants have shut. Restaurants are not making money. People are cutting down on their these are the few challenges that were also a part of today's agenda that we had to discuss. So I feel that I think today's time, it is important to act fast. As quickly a restaurant evolves to the present times, and I feel customers are ready to pay. If you're ready to give them a hygienic condition, if you're ready to pay attention to hygiene, if you're ready to incorporate the fact that COVID is present and they are ensuring all precautions beyond COVID, people are ready to go out. People are dining in. People have started spacing out in their restaurants. I think it's about 6 months away, but I think another 6 months, I think dining should be back to normal. Having said that, people are, having precautions. Also, another way that I think this problem can be solved is if people start making live kitchens where you can see, if there's a restaurant where I can sit and eat and I know my food is being prepared and I can see it being prepared. I think if that is what people start thinking towards, we are suggesting most of our clients to go in this direction, but it's very tough to have a live kitchen. I think Chef Sunil would agree that it's very tough to have processes, but I think this is the need of the hour. One needs to set processes which can be transparent, which people can see. If what do you say, Dr. Shivani? If you go to a restaurant and you can see that this is my meal and I can see it being prepared while I'm sitting on my chair because it's an open kitchen, I think there would be a faith that will come back
Very
to
true.
dining out.
True. Very true,
So
Chef Akanksha. I think the way the food is being prepared and how it is presented, it leaves a very good impact on your mind. Then only we feel safe to have that or consume it. Because in present times, we see safety as first. So if hygiene and safety is the priority, then definitely the food will automatically be safe and immune for us.
absolutely, if it's produced hygienically, I think it's again it's a hidden immunity building factor actually. So I think it's important that now for the future that people and the industry moves towards open kitchens so that people are more reassured. Also, as I said, people are more than willing to pay you for these reassurances. It is not that people are not willing to pay the price. They're very happy if you give them a mask. The airlines are doing it. They're very happy if you give them a shield. They're very happy that you've spaced them out. They're very happy that there's a sanitizing table. There's like if I don't know if everyone goes to I've been to food hall once. So if you enter food hall outside, they've kept gloves. There's a sanitizing kit. They've not moved to PPE, but they're doing what they can, and people don't mind paying the price for it, is what I personally feel. Also, delivery kitchens is another thing that mostly people are going into because nobody wants to step out. So the future of the industry is a lot of delivery and delivery based food because even though 50% of the population might be comfortable dining out, I'm sure there would be still a percentage who would be still scared. Like my mother and my immediate family, nobody wants to go out. Everybody wants to order in. Nobody wants to go out and eat. A lot of my friends are not even ordering because they feel what if the person who's delivering is a carrier or whatever is possible. So also, nowadays restaurants have started sending you an SMS that the person who's delivering your food was checked for temperature, they were at a normal temperature, this is the time your food was prepared. So I think all of these changes are gradually coming, and that is what I feel the future of the industry as far as coming back to the normal. This will be the new normal is what I feel. Also, if you see, there are a lot of new trends that are happening abroad also, where people, which are gradually coming to India. I don't know if they're correct or they're not. This is a debate that we can have some another day, where people are moving towards being vegan. I think Dr. Shivani would be more knowledgeable if veganism is better than having a full diet, or is not making dairy a part of your life a better choice. But yeah, that is another thing that
I
is
feel that it
my
is
heart.
more of a dietary concept in terms of reducing weight rather than being healthy. Because when you are deviating yourself from any particular food component, then you are not providing yourself with a complete nutrition. So I do not agree with the fact of vegan diet, because here you will be avoiding all milk and milk products, and you will be just consuming vegetables and fruits, which is not a
Correct.
complete source of nutrition.
Yes, I must ask here from both of you the same question. I've been hearing a lot. In fact, I went to a certain session. I'm actually diabetic, so I went to a session where that person kept on saying again that milk is not helpful. Milk is not meant for us. So is it just a myth, or is it like a reality or something like that? Or something in between?
No. There is nothing like this, that milk is not good for diabetic. In fact, if a person is diabetic, I believe that at least you should have the proteins from your milk, and along with that, because it is rich in proteins, it is going to it is going to actually meet your calorie needs also, which otherwise you have to compensate in terms of your carbohydrate. Okay, so if you
Right.
are cutting on your cereals, you will be compensating it with your milk and milk products. So milk anyways cannot be bad for a diabetic person. See, if you're not eating properly, if you're not able to consume a good amount of salad, or let's say if any other dietitian whoever approaches you and you tells you, okay, you have to have 5 meals in a day because you are diabetic, so you have to have small frequent meals, and you have to restrict your carbs, especially carbs like your cereals. Okay, you have including your chapati, rice, dal, everything you have to restrict. Then how will you compensate on other nutrients? So milk plays a very important role. In case of
Okay.
a diabetic person, I am not just focusing on you, I'm focusing on for all the diabetic persons around us. So quitting milk is not a solution. See, every food has carbs. Okay, but it depends on how you are consuming and how much quantity you are consuming. Even a rice, a small bowl of rice is not, we do not restrict for a diabetic person. Why? Because we say if you're having two chapati, reduce one chapati and you can have a small amount of rice. Why you have to deprive yourself from certain nutrients?
Hmm.
The concept is very simple, that eat, but eat in a mindful way. You have to focus on mindful eating rather than just, fulfilling your desire.
Right. Great, chef. Great, ma'am. Chef, back to you. You were saying few things
Yes.
so there.
So, so I was saying that people are gradually, as doctor corrected us, but yeah, this is the new fad of the industry, being vegan, where I
Hmm.
think I don't, as she said, it is a dietary choice and also a low, but I also think that again, the social media and the marketing plays a very important role.
Very
It's
important
suddenly
role.
considered as the new Uber cool thing, and people, oh, I'm a vegan, is like this cool thing that people want to say, or I don't eat gluten is the I know there are people who are allergic. I know a lot of people who are allergic. I have a lot of clients who again take gluten-free option because the kids cannot digest gluten. But doctor, I wanted to know one more thing. Is gluten an allergy again that is developed due to lifestyle, or is it just some people are made like this who can't digest gluten?
It can be a lifestyle disorder sometimes when you are not able to digest. Okay, so it is temporary, but otherwise it is a born disorder. Okay, so if a child who is born with the celiac disease, where he is not able to digest anything which is related to gluten, then that continues for lifelong. It cannot be cured, and it has an immediate reaction the moment the child consumes a gluten diet. A wheat product. But in case of an adult, if an adult temporary is showing some symptoms where is having indigestion, or upset stomach or inflammatory stomach, so we can call it that it is temporary, but it can be cured by restricting gluten in the diet for some time.
Dr. Sharma,
Great.
Dr. Sharma,
Yes, yes,
I
sir.
have a question. All these problems that we see now emerging, particularly in Europe, I think, and in the US, all these allergies that people have developed over the time, which we would not see before. Is that linked to the way we eat? Is there a rapport in between these two things? Because we see a lot of people with allergies, and when I was a kid myself, you would never hear about allergies. People would eat everything. Now people are allergic to nuts, people are allergic to gluten, people are allergic to this, that, and the other. How do we
Right.
explain this?
Okay, well, so this is a very good question because most of the diseases originated from the developed countries. I personally believe because of the lifestyle disorders. Since we correlated in a manner that our physical activities compared to your physical activities are better. So we as an Indian, we face less challenges in terms of allergies compared to the developed countries because the consumption of preserved food and processed food is more, which is less in our context. So that is the one main reason that why you people are more prone to infections and allergies as compared to us. Why do we not have these allergies? Because if we want to have cereals, we will freshly prepare it at home. We will not stack it in the refrigerator. If we want to have some soup, we will freshly prepare it at home until unless some emergency arises or if the mother is working, we are not having time. In that case, we go for the options of ready-made foods. But in India, the option of ready-made food is not so highly practiced as compared to the countries abroad. So this is one
Good,
reason why you people are more prone to infections and allergies.
good
We
that
I
I
never
would
moved
like
to
to add
India.
introduce
to
an
that.
infant.
She is
Yeah,
right.
one thing I
If you
want
travel
to,
to the
yeah, one
US
thing
or
I want to
Europe,
say,
it's
see,
all
one thing I want
processed.
to say, every allergy and every disease come from the parents. Okay, if an infant is born normal, the doctor says that the infant is 2.5 kgs and he is born healthy. Till the infant is 6 months old, the infant is healthy, but the moment the weaning diet is introduced, the infant starts having some kind of problems. Now, on one side is having problems and the other infant is not having problems. It comes from the parents. How the mother is feeding the child, what kind of food she is introducing. That's what actually builds a healthy human being, a healthy adult. If you are introduced with all preserved food right from the beginning, your body is going to adapt yourself for a preserved food only. You will not get habituated for a normal food. If I give my child Cerelac right from 6 months of age and continue till 2 years, then definitely he would never get the taste of normal cereals. Fine. So this is what happens with the diet and with our health.
Thank you,
I
doctor.
hope I could satisfy you.
Yes, yes. Now I'm happy I moved to India 14 years ago. I have no allergies at all.
You're most welcome.
We do have the best immunity in the world. I would like to say that.
Yes, we have best immunity because even if we eat golgappas, we are healthy.
Exactly.
That is the best example.
That is,
See, even if we have
yeah, that is
golgappas from the
true.
street or any corner of the street, we are healthy. So that is the biggest proof of
Yeah,
our
that is true.
immunity.
Also, I would like to add now parents have started asking, chefs and I have started, people want to make Cerelac at home. Like people want to take the good cereals like Cholai and Amaranth, get like
Yes.
like Sago. And the components of Cerelac is all these cereals, but I've also worked in the packaging industry. Whatever said and done, as soon as it is packaged, whether you call it the Tetra Pak technology, whether you call it any technology, there has to be something that needs to be added artificially for it to sustain in our refrigeration. So no matter how much you market it as as good as new, it's as good as fresh, it is not. Something either you have to add a layer of nitrogen, which is externally, and that's the more popular thing now because people are moving away from preservation. So now people have started inducting nitrogen in packaging so that at least there's no preservation. So I think make at home or probably startups or F&B industry, restaurants which now start concentrating on no preservation food is what I feel is the future. Also, I think people are more than happy to know that I'm just about to over. The people are more than happy to know that okay, it'll last for 10 days in your refrigeration. People are happy with it. People are okay that okay, there's no preservation. I will keep it in my fridge, like how we keep our chutneys and our pickles, and all of these are naturally preserved things. So I think the industry is moving there, but let's see how long does it take for the. Yes, Mr. Singh.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you one thing. In fact, there are many people who are, as you just now said, into immuno foods, haldi pani, methi dana pani, and various other things. They say that brown sugar is better than the normal white sugar. The other day I got brown sugar and I put some water into it, and from inside came our dear white sugar. It's just a coating, or how does it help?
It's
It is
adulterated.
all fake. We have not been able
It's
to
It
find
is
a
adulterated.
adulterated.
faithful sugar.
Adulterated.
It is completely
Good, good.
adulterated.
Then Mr. Singh said good, because that's the purest form as that I can think at this point. But it
Yeah,
is
Actually,
a big problem to differentiate real from non-real. But actually, brown sugar is unrefined sugar, which, if you remember,
okay.
how is good brown and sugar white? Because they
Yeah,
refine it, and
correct.
it's multiple. There are a lot of chemicals added to refine it. Probably at some other day I'll explain the whole process, but there's a lot of chemical washing that happens to make it
Hmm.
white and shiny. And also, to get things free flowing, that another chemical is added. So I won't name any companies, but
sulfur.
all the products that are free
Sulfur is
flowing,
added,
yeah,
yeah.
they add sulfur. So recently
They
someone
add
I know
sulfur to
got
it
cancer.
to make it look more whiter and more
Yeah,
fresher. This is what people,
someone recently on my,
categorize sugars as.
Yeah,
correct.
because
As I said,
no
someone
matter what.
recently,
Yeah, please, please, please.
no, no, I was saying someone recently got cancer. I know someone. And the first thing that the doctor said is, please move away from these free flowing salt companies, free flowing sugar companies, because they add so much sulfur to keep it that way, even in humid environment, that it actually harms your body. So, yeah, I would say jaggery is the purest at this
Jaggery is the
point.
best, although, it
Why not
doesn't
switch
give
on
you
to
a
black
very
salt?
good taste in the chai, neither in coffee. But why I raised a matter about sugar is because sugar is a very important part of food in Indian people's lives. खाने के बाद कुछ
Correct,
मीठा हो जाए. No, मीठा,
correct.
that is why everybody wants to, the big urge of getting a meetha. And so I want one
Yeah.
more question. What do you think about khand? There's something which is called khand or shakkar
Ah,
or what you,
Shankar.
Yes,
yeah.
the
sugar.
white one, right?
Yeah,
The de
the
yeah,
white one. Some people
the
call it
Bura,
desi
bura also.
sugar.
bura,
The desi
bura.
sugar we
I,
call
I
it.
think
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as far as it's white, there is something happening. Because naturally, if you've seen the process of making jaggery, once you cook it, it's no longer white. So,
Correct, correct.
and if you also see sugarcane juice, it is a little golden. It's like a little
Hmm,
pale,
I know.
goldenish. So again, it's something that one can debate on. Yes, some people do claim that khand is better than refined sugar. It is not
Hmm.
as refined. So khand is not refined. Khand is probably, they just probably keep it
Raw,
white and don't
completely
cook it.
cured.
Yeah, correct. But again, I feel that as far as it's white, because naturally sugar is not white.
I know.
Something
Sugar
is
is not
being
white.
done for it to say yes. So
Yeah, we turn it from
I
dark
pers
brown to white.
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So I personally am gradually starting to use a lot of I put jaggery in my tea, and it's an acquired taste. But as I said, अगर बचपन से शायद खाया होता तो if you would have probably had jaggery since childhood, I think I would have been happier having it. Also, if you have sweet craving, why don't you include things like dates? Dates are so sweet. If after your
Hmm.
meal, just have a piece of date. I think it's one of the sweetest dried fruits. And if again, I'm experimenting on a lot of date cakes. Someone who's diabetic recently and I made date muffins. I didn't add sugar. I just sweetened it with the date syrup. And again, as for my liking, it wasn't as sweet. But the person who was diabetic, he was like, it's nice. I mean, I am getting a little bit of sweetness. So as I said, it's all childhood based. हम बचपन से चीनी
Yeah.
खा रहे हैं. We are used
चीनी
to
खा
having
रहे हैं,
sugar.
right.
I think if the next generation is probably fed more jaggery and dates, and they're told कि this is what is the new norm, and there is nothing called as sugar.
Yeah.
I think, I
And
think.
I'm sure your take would be the same on saccharin also because it is also white. So,
Yeah.
highly processed, I should say, little pill makes the entire tea so sweet. Anyway, thank you
I
very
would
much
say
for
don't
that.
have sugar. If you want to have saccharin, don't have sugar. It has
Yeah,
more
understood.
harm than good. Don't. If you
No,
read
no.
about it, it gradually causes retardation of rain if you have too much of it.
Yeah, I know, I know.
So,
Thank,
so I would say mat khao.
thank you, chef.
Feeling
So,
that, yeah.
Sunil chef, next time how you make chocolate, गुड़ के
Ma'am,
साथ
I
बनाना
have
sir.
a question. Good afternoon, Akanksha ma'am. Good afternoon,
Yes,
Shivani
yes,
ma'am.
yes.
I have a question. You know, we are talking about including immunity in our daily life. But do you think it's time we go organic? Because we have spoken about adulteration, you know, whether it's milk, it's vegetables, it's spices. Adulteration is everywhere. In our country, it is more. So considering that, is it time that we go organic? But going organic means, you know, losing a lot of money. You know, people should have that much of money in their pockets. So do you think, is it really required now?
You
As
have already given the answer to it. It's all in your pocket. There is nothing like nothing best as compared to organic food is concerned. But again, it all depends on your pocket. And in case if your pocket doesn't allows you, then you eat whatever is available at home. As Akanksha ma'am
But
already briefed, consume salads in
yes,
your
but
diet, good amount of water.
having those adulterated food, will it help in our
No,
increasing our
see,
immunity?
when
That's what.
Our Indian cooking is a lot of wastage of water. Not to forget this. Okay, so every time your mother cooks dal or rice for you, she's washing it ample of times. So you are, as such, discarding all the adulterants via water. So you can have that meal, and after cooking, adulterants are almost, goes away from the food. Right, Akanksha ma'am?
mm, it's again a very good debatable topic as far as, see, as I said, everybody can't
Except
afford
coffee
organic
and
food.
tea, except coffee and
Everybody
tea.
can't.
Otherwise, yeah.
As far as organic, if you're talking about organic pulses and rice, because a lot of that is prevalent in the market at this point. And with the way the population is increasing and how the development and modernization is happening, the population's food need cannot be met by all organic food. I mean, we're really far away from it. So fertilizers and things are added to vegetables so that, the produce is more and there's more that comes out of it. I think if you can afford it, like recently, me and my mom were chatting. So I said, let's on Big Basket. We use a lot of Big Basket to order food. So I said, let's order organic. Let's organic apples, or let's order organic tomatoes. Whatever organic was visible on that that e-commerce platform. So she said, क्या क्या organic खाएगी? मतलब ठीक है, तुझे टमाटर मिल गए organic, तुझे सेब मिल गए organic. What about dal? What about चावल? कितना कितना organic खाएगी? How much organic is available as an option in our country? Of course, there are companies who are producing, like Lamarche has started hydroponics. I had also done a project for Lamarche. So they are producing 4 vegetables by the technology of hydroponics. What about the rest? What about the rest of the vegetables that most supermarkets are selling? So I think once everything goes organic, yes, it is. I feel is a healthier choice to make because it is a healthier choice. I mean, there is no fertilizers, no chemicals used, and it's pure and you can also start growing your own vegetables. A lot of people are doing that now.
We are
It's
doing.
not as tough, but in the current time, since pocket is a very contributing factor, wash your vegetables properly and try to peel most of the things that you eat is what I would suggest because you can't go fully organic in our country. I mean,
Yes.
we are a little far off. I think if you go towards France side or US side, they have demarcated in supermarkets. This is organic section, and this is an inorganic section. If you have the money, you buy the organic. If you don't have the money, you go to the normal section. So at least demarcation is there. I don't want to demean India in any way, but as Mr. Singh said, what is real and what is not real? I mean, I'm not even sure if someone is saying it's organic, it is organic, and I think it's all
I'm going
food
to add
laws
something here.
in,
Chef, I'll add something
yeah.
here. I remember my trip to the Cyber Hub. They used to have a Sunday market about 4 years
Yes.
back. I remember a person selling organic oranges. And when I asked the process, I actually realized they were using chemicals as a treating agent in their organic food. So the exact point you said, it's not clear.
I mean,
Yes, yes, please.
you don't know what is organic, and I mean, I'm not sure if I'm paying 150 or 200 rupees a kilo for something if it's really organic. As Mr. Singh said, वो brown sugar को पानी में मिलाया and everything was brown. While he, of course, intended on having something pure. That is why he bought it. So I think once food laws in our country evolve, we'll be more. Food laws is what is the biggest problem in our country, is what I feel. That there is no strict diktat, there are no scrutinizing, there is no questioning of what people are making and selling, there's no audits, no real audits, and nobody's scared. You can pretty much make anything and sell anything. So I would just say wash your vegetables, eat everything peeled and washed, and boil whatever you can, and that's our only bet. That's the realistic answer.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
No worries, no worries.
Anybody else has any question in their mind left out? I guess no question. So thank you so much, Doctor and Chef here. Thank you so much for your input. This is actually a very
Pleasure.
interesting session. I must say it's a very
Yeah, it
practical
was
session. I've been getting inputs. I've been getting inputs
Yeah,
from Facebook.
yeah,
It's
one
live on
last
Facebook
question.
right now. Yes, please, sir.
No, I just wanted to address Kanksha Chef. Is your bonsai open? I also live in Gurgaon, so maybe are you open these days? Maybe we can come across and
Yes,
visit
yes,
and
we're
pick up.
open.
Where are you
It's
located,
currently
madam?
I'm located at Expo Chalk. It's a dark kitchen. We make to order,
Okay.
and soon
Okay.
we also do tailor-made products. But most of the items we have a menu. I can share it with Chef Sunil and probably get your number
Yeah,
and share
sure.
it. But
I'll take
we
it.
do a lot of tailor making. Unfortunately, popularly people still like sugar. So, but I
How
do a
sweet.
lot of jaggery bean cakes. I'll do a lot of
Good.
them, but the percentage is less, the people who take
Mm.
that.
Correct.
Do a lot of bread also that people take, but again, people are happier eating. The taste, it's all the taste that we have
Ah,
developed. But yeah, I'll get in touch with you for sure.
yeah. My wife is listening to this conversation. She said, "Bread bhi banate hain?" Yes, bread.
Yes, yes.
मेरी mom तो मेरे kitchen की bread खाती है. She stopped purchasing because she's like, it's not as tasty, but मुझे real लगती है. मतलब it tastes like आटा है, you know. I taste
Yeah,
आटा.
right. Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Dean ma'am, any words for me for the closing? Garima ma'am?
Just like time to give my thanks on behalf of the school and a personal thanks to both the ladies for such a wonderful talk and firstly accepting our invitation to spend your valuable time with us. And I think so all of us are going richer in experience about nutrition, although I keep eating Dr. Shivani's head day in and day out, and she keeps offering me all types of diets which I don't follow. And I keep telling her all the junk that I eat. But thankfully for years, she has not given up on me. And whenever I ask over a night, she provides me a diet. And I think so she thinks, okay, she'll be happy with the diet. Usko karna to hai nahi kuch. But yes, so that is it. And personally, I think so we all being chefs are definitely inclined to understand nutrition. And it is one topic which is very close to heart. You know, so even I have been a chef. So, and I think so what Kanksha Chef you're doing is wonderful. I think so. At least, I mean, if there are no takers or less takers, but at least there are opportunities. And I'll definitely take your details from Sunil. And also, we are all in Gurgaon only, so we'll definitely try your product.
For sure. Anytime.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Chef, and thank you so much, Dr. Shivani. It has been a real pleasure for all of us.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.